If you was steaming through 2022 and then you steam through the top of 2023, take a beat. I'm telling y'all, it will give you what you need. I'm a poet, period. And I have not been in my writing bag. Like, it wasn't even like a loss of words. I feel like I just didn't create the space for me to write anything. I was writing. I sat down one day, I created my little space, you know what I'm saying? I had me some tunes on. I think I just had some water, so I didn't have a drink, but I had me a little water, honey, and I had my candle going. You know, I cannot write without a candle. And so I cultivated a little space. And when I say 7 poems came out, I was like, what? And I wasn't expecting it. I didn't have no expectations for the writing practice at that time. I was just like, I'm just going to put pen on the paper and hopefully something comes out. 7 poems is not what I expected. And I truly think it's because I created the space for that to happen. There was a moment where I had some post-its on a wall in my living room, and I literally was just like kind of brainstorming and letting things flow. And so there are times when we have things in our head and they need somewhere to go, to breathe, to live. And I allowed space for myself, literally in my apartment, my space, but even outside of my brain for it to go somewhere. And when I did that, I'm telling you, like, I feel brand new. I'm in a new era, a new season, a new moment just in my life in general, my career, right? Everything that I got going on and popping in this space, but then also for Power and Prose, for me as a creative. And when we hear the word back, it makes it seem like there's a loss of progress, that the progress that you made isn't powerful, it's not strong, that you didn't get enough accolades or validation from people, that you don't have the help that you need. And so you need to go back to figure out what went wrong. And I think that that's a one way to look at it, right? And sometimes that's the truth. It's like, nah, you need to go back to the beginning because this is messed up. But I think that there's another way to look at that. And when you're back at the start, it is an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for freshness, for something new, to be invigorated and inspired, to inspire other people and to go forward in a new way. And going back allows you to do that. And sometimes when we go back to something, it's because it's a template, it's a blueprint, it's a thing that you are comfortable with. But that comfortable thing springboards you into the next, into that area of being unfamiliar with something, into that area of new territory. And you won't be able to feel your way around. You won't have all the unlock and the exact thing that you're supposed to do. Going backwards will help you go forward. You'll be able to go forward with some tenacity. You'll be able to go forward with some confidence and ultimately gaining success because you use what's in your bag to help you get new things along the journey. And there's truly power there, but if we don't shift our mindset, we'll miss it. And that's something this year, let me tell you, anything that got DESTANEE on it, I'm trying to grab it. I want to seize it, and I want to seize it to the utmost of my potential with that thing, with this era that I'm in, because I don't know about y'all. I'm tired of the same old, same old. Like, God bless me. Last year, there were some dope things that popped off in my life last year, some dope people that I met, places I was able to go, things I was able to do. But I was also exposed to new things. I was also exposed to ideas, places, thoughts that I just would have never thought would have been attached to my name, and especially not now, right? I thought that would have had to come later in my life, or I would have had to achieve X thing to get there. And once you're exposed, you can't be unexposed to a thing. And so now that I got a little taste, I got a little munch of certain ideas, of certain things, of certain just character, of certain people, of myself, I'm like, yeah, let's go get that. Let's seize that to the utmost power. And so being back at the start of a new month, a new year, of creating this platform, of me writing, of me just standing in my identity and my authenticity, it makes me feel vicious. Like, yeah, we about to go into something new, and it's gonna give me new results. We can get real risk averse. I was talking to my friend actually about adults, right? And adults, we think in practicality. We practically got bills that need to be paid. We practically want to be a good friend. And so we might put some things that we value and things that we want to do to the side so we can show up for other people, our family for sure. Well, how you do that? There is your career, your job, your entrepreneurial pursuits, all of that that are popping off. And there are practical things that you have to have in place to do that. And being practical is good, being intentional is great. But let me tell you, in the past couple of weeks, I have been having just serendipitous moments happen to me or things that I didn't plan that have happened, and I just got to roll with it. And it's kind of lit on that side. It's kind of lit when you don't plan everything out. I'm a planner, okay? I have notebooks on notebooks on notebooks up in here that I be writing things out. I use Notion to organize not just Power and Prose, but my personal life as well. I done got somebody template child from the internet, and I got a habit tracker to kind of track some things that are popping off for me. And so I like to know what's going on. I like to know what's going up, what's going down, and what's going all the way around. And so that way I can be successful, so I can yield the result that I'm looking for. And that's me being practical. It's like practically things are going to happen. So if I plan for them, I'll be at a higher success rate to get what I want. The issue with that is it removes play. It removes you being creative. It removes you needing to have faith. It removes you being able to step out and courage for a thing. And when you don't have faith, when you aren't able to step out and courage, when you're not being playful, you're not being creative, you're putting restrictions on yourself. You're putting restrictions on other people and resources around you, right? You're putting restrictions on how other people can bring their unique selves to your situation and get you that more pop and get you to a place that you wouldn't be able to get yourself to. And you put limits on God and how he can show up in your life. And that's just not, that ain't the tea. And like for this year, for real, I feel that the more that we are able to take the chains off, the more that we're able to step out and be like, nah, I'm doing things in a new way, not just new for new sake, but new in a way that's going to have me daring and stepping in courage and removing fear, especially unnecessary fear. We're able to get new things. I got a text from people, two different people in the past week, and it had me get out my house like within an hour. Like it was like, yo, meet me at this place right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's popping right now. It's something for you right now. Get here. And I'm not the type of person. I like to know what's going on for my week. I like to have a plan. I'm gonna meet you at this time at this place. I usually be late, but I know what time I'm supposed to be there. I know what the event even is, right? If it's lunch, if it's dinner, if it's an event, I know what's up. And these two scenarios, that was not the case. It was like, okay, what am I even wearing to this thing? Who's gonna be there? Like all of that, it wasn't no time for questions. It was like snooze, you lose. And I had a decision to make. Either I pop in to that moment, I lean in, or I don't. And both of those moments were such blessings for me, bro. Like I can't even describe how big of a blessing that they were. But I only was able to receive it by leaning into doing a new thing, by not being able to strictly plan out what was going to happen and know all the scenarios of the moment and just enjoy the moment. And it just allowed me to just, I showed up as my original death self, and that death self in this new environment that I showed up to in a new way created a great intersection of just blessing. Like that's all I can say for real. New things allow you to have an opportunity for new blessings. Is that ultimately all we want, right? We don't want the same old thing that we've been getting. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting new results. And I got a reminder of that by reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I was not an Atomic Habits girly. A lot of people have been talking about it and have read it before me. And I was like, I might get to it one of these days, but I don't know. I wasn't really checking for it. It ain't really my type of genre of book that I read. And so somebody has suggested it that I really respect. And I was like, okay, girl, like I'm gonna tap into it. I went to my friend's house, and on her bookshelf, she had the book sitting there. So I asked her to borrow it. Shout out to Tia. And in reading it, I read it in one day, like literally whole book one day. And I was like, you want new things, you have to do new results. And one thing that I got from the book was that as you're doing new things, you're still you, right? And you have more time of you doing what you've done before versus the new thing that you're trying to do. And so there are gonna be moments when you stumble, there are gonna be moments when that new thought pattern just isn't naturally what comes to your brain. Or if you just now trying to go to the gym and you haven't been going to the gym, you might not always want to be going to the gym, girl, because that's not where your brain typically is. It's like, oh, we're gym girlies. That's something new. However, when you continue to show up as that person, you're making votes from being the you that you are to being the you that you ultimately are trying to get to. And as you continue to make votes on that new person, you look up and you are that person. You're walking in that, you think in that pattern, you talk in that way, you do things in that way, you go places that person would go. And that's just now your aura. That's how you present, that's how you show up. I was like, okay, it's just a vote, and you're not going to vote the same each and every time, right? And so with my habit tracker on Notion, I have, okay, drinking water. Let me tell y'all, it is so hard for me to drink the amount of water that I need to drink every day. Like, it is so bad. So I drink water, but not enough. I be walking around like parched. Like, I get up sometimes and I'm dizzy. I'm like, oh, I'm lightheaded. And it's like, yeah, I bet you are. You haven't drank water today and it's 3 o'clock. So I have added the amount of water I'm supposed to drink to my habit tracker, and my habit tracker is like a checklist, right? And so there's different things on my checklist that I want to do each and every day. Again, making votes on the desk that I want to be. And so even on the days when I don't reach the benchmark and I do not give myself a check mark for getting close, it's like if you did not drink the amount, you don't get the vote for the day. It's not even just to be like legalistic or whatever, but it's just like to see the progress that I've made. And in doing that, I haven't hit it this year yet, I don't think. And so I'm like, oh, I really need to do better. However, I know that I'm getting closer. I know that I'm recognizing when I'm thirsty and actually doing something about it. And I can see the other habits that I am putting in place and the other achievements that I'm getting on my day to day, right? And so as I'm doing it, I'm like, wait, I've made some changes already. We're at the top of the year and I'm already becoming this person that I want to be and doing daily things. And daily stuff is tougher to me than showing up for something like once a week or whatever, once a month or what have you. I'm like, okay, this Atomic Habits thing, it might be something to it. So if you haven't read Atomic Habits, I do suggest it. And even if you don't agree with all of the things that are in the book, I do think there are little tidbits that can help you really stand in your authenticity, really stand in your power, and really embody the person that you want to be, because it's available to you, but it's through the new things that you do and that you pick up and that you continue to stick with that are going to allow you to get there. New things provide a push to divorce old patterns that you had before. And so this kind of ties to the previous point of accepting new blessings in Atomic Habits, but there is a line. I watched a sermon recently and it was talking about like, yo, you do things, and then doing the things, or even not even you doing it, us being in the families that we're in, being in the environments that we're in, being in the state that we're in, the street that you own, being your race, your gender, in the field that you're in, there are just cultural norms that we're taught. We don't even ask anybody their opinion, their thoughts about a thing, but yet we are told a thing, and we see that thing being enforced by the people and the structures around us. Typically what happens with that is you either adapt that normative thing and you start to do it as well and you emulate that in what you do, or you are repulsed by it but you have a negative thought pattern on the way that you don't do what everybody else does and that you aren't normal, or that, oh, I'm taking the unbeaten path and there's something wrong with that, or I'm going to encounter more strife because my journey looks different than other people. So with either one of those thoughts, there's negative thought patterns and it can be negative actions that we take that are associated. And so as we start to invite new thought patterns and start to do new things, it allows us to divorce that old way of thinking. It allows us to remove ourselves from those normative patterns that seem like the way to go, but they don't have to be. And that has been a real unlock for me at the top of the year. Is like, I really can do this thing however I want. Like, how powerful is that? That I can do whatever it is that I feel moved to do. And by me doing it the way that I do it, with my personality, with the resources that I have, with the folks that I got backing me up, with all the tools, you know what I mean? And with the God that I serve, like, I'm gonna yield results that it could only happen by me doing it that way. How powerful is that? The door, it could look like everybody else's door, but the way I turn that key and the way that I walked up to that door and what I whispered to that door before I allow that thing to open, that is what makes all the difference. Divorcing ourselves from those patterns and those thinking habits of just like how you're supposed to show up really can help you to show up as you. And that might be the new thing for you this year. It's just like, okay, what are some things that I've picked up that I don't even know why I do that? But for some reason, it's a habit for me. It's a thing, and it's not positive. It's not serving me in this season. It doesn't make me feel powerful. I don't think that it fully represents what my purpose is and who I'm called to be. And you start to remove yourself from that thing. And again, because it's how you've been operating, it might take you a while to divorce yourself from that thing, but making a conscious, intentional effort to do so, you'll start to see it. I'm telling y'all, I'm just starting myself in certain areas of divorcing certain thoughts, and I'm already seeing like just by deciding, making the decision that I'm going to do it, I'm thinking about myself in a totally different way where I'm like, no, I really am that girl in all aspects, even stuff that I started new yesterday. I'm like, no, I'm her, and not in an arrogant way, not in a way where I know everything, because trust me, I don't. I'm learning new stuff every day. I'm reading new books every day. I'm watching master classes, like, you know what I'm saying? All of these things. And so there's new stuff that's coming to me. However, the me that I'm bringing to the new stuff is able to carry it. I'm able to walk that thing out, and I will see the results. New things also allow you to adopt a new normal, one in which you're familiar with. And as you get familiar, then you get a newer normal. And so you continue to level up. And so, again, once you're exposed, you can't be unexposed. As you allow yourself to go to a new place, you start to exist there, right? And so you're on that level of existing in that place, talking to those people, doing that thing, going to bed at that time, going to that gym. You stay for that long, you do this workout. Like, you're at that level when you start to operate there, and it's new. And you have to push through those difficult days, and you have to push through those times when those old thought patterns try to creep back up into the new era that you're building. There are times when old people are going to be in your DMs and you're going to have to delete that thread again, like, right? So there's all those things that happen, but eventually you become familiar with that level. And the great thing about that level is once you get familiar and your eyes are open and you're not having to fight and deal with the new things as much, you're able to be aware of your surroundings. With awareness comes exposure. With exposure comes a new normal ambition that you can have, right? And so as you have that new ambition, you're now exposed to new things, and it starts to breathe and kick up. You want to go for it, right? And so your passion just continuously gets reignited, and you want to continue to go for those things, with power and in that new you that you just built up. And so you're able to go from level to level to level, glory to glory to glory, right? New experience to new experience, new city to new city, new bag to new bag, okay? And it's all because of the level before. Being back at the start is really because of the success of the starts that you've done before. Every new age that you go to, every new level with your career, with every new thing that you try, every new way. Next time that you go home and you walk down this street instead of that street, you drive down this block instead of that block, it can unlock new creative ideas. It can unlock for you to meet somebody, child, like all the things could just pop off. And then once you're exposed to that new YouTube video, to that new artist, to that new whatever, you cannot be unexposed. And who knows what that exposure can do for you? It can really take you to the next level. Also, our source, literally God, like, he don't do the same old, same old. He is everlasting, right? And his character is his character because he's so holy, because he's so dope, because he don't make no mistakes. He's him at all times, but he expresses himself in new ways all the time. We see it time and time again, even with the weather. So the sun rises each and every day, but the temperature that we get from the sun changes. We experience seasons for that very reason, because each and every day is not the same. Even in the same season, it's winter right now, but the temperature that it was yesterday, the high, the low, the wind chill, all of that is not the same number from day to day, even in this season or this era, because that's God expressing himself in a different way, even though he's the same. He's the one that orchestrates the weather, the universe. That's the same for us. If that's God and we're made in his image, we're called to do that same thing. And so you could be at that same job. You could be doing that same thing. I'm here on the same podcast, but I promise you this year I'm coming with some new energy. I'm going to express my creativity and my power, my being, my authenticity in a new way. And that is how we're called to show up and being like him. And as you lean into it, you realize just how limitless you are. I don't know why we do this, and I am a full-fledged victim of putting myself in a box, of putting opportunities that I come across in a box, putting people that I meet in a box. And it's just because I guess law of first mention, when I first get exposed to something, I decide that that's just how it's gonna be. Like, I'm just gonna experience this person in this way all the time. I'm gonna experience me in this way all the time because this is how I've been. And that is not the truth. There are so many shifts and changes and new modes that we can go into, but it comes by leaning into it. And as you lean into it and you experience the shifts, you experience the new exposure, you experience a new thing, you're like, oh, this ain't nothing like what it was before, but it's the thing before that got me to this place. And it helps you to continue to walk down that path and to continue to experience those new things and continue to be blessed. And that's what we all want. Surrender. Surrender to the newness. Surrender to the feeling of like, okay, this isn't comfortable intrinsically. This is not what I would have chosen. This is not usually the bag that I sit in. But for some reason and somehow, I found myself here. I'm existing here. And so, how can I show up? How can I take everything that this moment has for me? There is something there, but we have to surrender to it. And surrender is actually my word of 2023. And it just randomly came to me. I went to the spa on Christmas Eve. Let me tell you, a massage could change your life, y'all. Like, I really needed that massage. I went to the spa and it was just a great moment. And I actually was on a massage table. Dude is like, what I'm saying, trying to get in my knots and my spots and get me together. And he politely was like, if you find yourself trying to help, trying to assist, trying to control the experience today, I want you to surrender. I want you to lean into the moment and bring your body back to a space of being relaxed. And him saying it, I was like, I realized how tense I was. I realized that I was trying to be in control. I was trying to anticipate, okay, are you about to move my legs to the left or to the right? So I can, it was like, I need you to just kind of be dead, be limp. And the moment will let you know what's happening, and then you can lean into that to get the most out of the experience. When you're bucking at something, when you're creating unnecessary tension, it causes you to have a lack of clarity, even though the clarity is there, but you're resisting it. It causes you to not be able to use all the resources that you have because you don't even see them. You don't see the need for certain people, certain things, certain scenarios aren't opened up to you because you don't have an open mind for even where you're at. You might not even know where you at and you feel lost. I kept coming back to that word of just surrender, of I'm not going to have to control everything to get all the things that I want. Like, the optimal experience and the optimal outcome is available, even though I'm not orchestrating each and every turn, each and every moment that happens to me. I can go back to the start, take the things that I've learned, but also experience new things and create something so amazing that I can experience in my life and that I can share with other people that I would not have been able to orchestrate any other way. Be sure that you lean into things and see what happens. Tell your girl what happens, what pops off for you as you lean in. I promise you, like, serendipity and just like divine moments pop off when you do it. And once you're exposed to those divine moments, those new ideas, those creative avenues, you can't be unexposed. They'll just continue to build on top of each other. And you'll be back at the start again, but with some new things in your bag to continue along your journey. So don't look at it as that you're moving backwards, but that you are at the start of your new beginning. Hope that this was helpful and fruitful. You can keep up with your girl and all the things that we'll be doing and popping off this year by keeping up with me on Instagram at Power and Prose Podcast. I can't wait to connect with you there. You can also, if you need a little power boost throughout your weeks, you can sign up for my newsletter, the Prose and Praise pages, and I hit you with a little bit of inspo throughout the week to help you stand in your power continuously, because we all know it is a journey and we need each other to get there. So if you want a little bit of inspiration in your inbox once a week, you can subscribe to that. And I'm truly just rooting for everybody. Like, I don't know about y'all, I'm still feeling the new year like juice. I'm still feeling the new year rhythm where I'm like, nah, like this is really going to be different for me. And so I'm rooting for y'all. I'm rooting for myself. Okay, you got to cheer yourself on before you ask other people to do it. And so I'm really just standing fully in that. And I hope y'all feel my energy. I'm rooting for y'all. Remember to profess your power, and there's power in prose. Catch y'all next time. Bye.